Project Zomboid, the game where even the loading screen doesn't believe you're gonna make it. Hello everyone, my name is Malvesa, and I love playing Zomboid here on the channel. So today I thought I'd do a quick review for any new players who might be interested in trying it out. Let's start with the basics. What is Project Zomboid? Now imagine you wake up one day to find yourself in the middle of a zombie apocalypse, except you quickly realize you don't know how to do anything useful and your only weapon is a spoon from your kitchen drawer. To put it simply, Project Zomboid is an isometric survival game which puts most others to shame with its level of realism and complex survival mechanics. This starts at the character creation screen, where you choose from a bunch of positive and negative traits to create your unique character. From there, you need to figure out how to deal with hordes of your undead neighbors who will relentlessly pursue you, while managing your constantly changing moodles, which will impact your character's abilities in major ways. Any injury you get from a zombie has a chance of ending your character's life through the uncurable zombie virus. So don't get hit. As time passes, the situation deteriorates, and you're forced to continue adapting to new challenges, which most of the time is easier said than done. So at this stage you might be thinking, what is the end goal? Is it possible to win Project Zomboid? Not exactly. Project Zomboid is a sandbox game, so it can continue indefinitely, and there are no goals set for the player aside from survival. However, it is designed to make that very difficult, and you'll need to overcome certain challenges in order to survive as the game progresses. Now, I want to do a quick pros and cons list to give you a better idea of the game's best and worst aspects in my opinion, but before we get into that, I'll answer the burning question. Is it a good game? Absolutely. I think this game has so much to offer the survival genre, I can't imagine someone being disappointed that they played it. Here's why. Pro: survival mechanics. Zomboid, in my opinion, has some of the most complex survival mechanics in any survival game. This starts from the character creation screen, where you decide your traits. What you choose will have a heavy impact on your entire playthrough. Depending on your actions in the game, your character will develop moodles. Outside of the standard hunger, thirst, and tiredness moodles, your character will develop additional moodles in response to their actions, their situation, and their environment. Each moodle has several levels of severity, and each will impact your character in different ways. In addition to this, you need to meet certain requirements to complete any task, so something seemingly simple can become a difficult mission. To illustrate this, let me give you a quick example. Say you want to get a car. Unlike most zombie games where you just find one and jump in Zomboid you need to find one that'll start first. Each car is made up of parts, and each part has its own quality and condition. Just like your character's moodles, each part will have an impact on how your car drives or if it'll start at all. But finding a car is just the beginning. You're also probably going to want to get some gas, so you'll need to take a quick trip to the gas station. Just pray that by the time you get there, that's still an option. I won't spoil the details of it here, but let's just say you may find yourself in a difficult situation. And unless you're lucky enough to have found the keys as well, you'll need to level up your skills to be able to hotwire it. But to do that, you'll need to find the right tools first. And since leveling your skills can take a while, you'll probably want to speed up the process by coming here. Just be careful not to let the zombies touch you, because one mistake will end your entire playthrough, forcing you to start the process all over again with a new character. Which leads nicely into my second point. This game is extremely challenging, especially in the beginning. This might be a con for some people because there's a steep learning curve, and that can turn some players off. The combat is a big part of this, and mastering it takes some practice. With 200 hours in the game, I still don't feel like I'm there yet. While it can be overwhelming at first, I think this is actually one of the game's best features. The great part about this is that each zombie encounter feels like a real threat, at least for a while. A situation can go from calm to out of control in seconds, which makes you think on your feet and adapt quickly. It makes for some incredibly fun and tense moments, since the cost of losing a character is so high. As soon as you get comfortable, the game likes to remind you that you're always 1 second away from death, and threats around every corner keep you on your toes. Pro: environment and atmosphere. Leading on from the last point, Zomboid actually manages to feel incredibly immersive despite not being a high graphics game. The environment, weather patterns, and variety across the map and building types makes it feel fresh for a long time. Even though the map is static, I feel that there is enough variation between areas to make you excited to explore them. There are also some unique points of interest that are definitely worth a visit. As for the atmosphere, the game does a great job of feeling spooky at times. There's nothing more terrifying than hearing glass shatter or a door breaking in the middle of the night while you're trying to recover from your injuries. Oh, and the jump scare sounds will get you a few times too. That sound actually scared me. Pro: the mods. Project Zomboid has a very active modding community that have created an impressive library of mods to suit any playstyle. In addition to the custom sandbox options which come with the game, the modding community have created solutions to almost every problem that exists in Zomboid. You really can play this game in any way you want, which leads nicely to my last point. Replayability. In addition to the standard game difficulties, you also have access to challenges and scenarios, which bring a new dimension to your gameplay. There's so many different ways to approach the game and goals to achieve that you'll likely find yourself trying out different playstyles and different character traits. Now the cons. Now I'll be honest, I struggled with this section a lot because there's a fine line between preferences and cons. But there are a few things that are pretty universal, which I think are worth mentioning. Con, the endgame. Once you hit a certain game stage, it can start to feel like there isn't much left to do. Outside of personal challenges like clearing a certain area or maxing out your skills, or just checking out an interesting POI, there's very little incentive to continue exploring the world. But this won't be the case for much longer, since the development team is actively working on an update that will introduce human NPCs into the game. According to the development team, we'll start to see early versions of NPCs as early as build 43. Con, the UI. While I personally don't mind the interface, I can't deny it took some getting used to. If you're jumping in from another game, it can feel a little confusing at first. The menus tend to be small and some of the interaction elements are inconsistent. My only advice here is, don't let it dissuade you from trying out the game. You'll pick it up in no time, and if it really bothers you, there are some great mods out there that can improve it. Con, it's still in development. This is a double-edged sword because on one hand, there are a lot of new features being implemented and the game is improving, but on the other hand, the game lacks polish in some areas. In its current state, there are entire skill trees which aren't worth pursuing, items that sound great on paper but don't do much in reality, and just random roofs you can fall through for some reason. While this can be annoying at times, I haven't found anything major enough to make me want to stop playing. Just don't expect a fully polished game going into it because there's definitely more work to be done. Overall, I'd say Zomboid is worth your time if you're a fan of the survival genre, because it offers a truly unique and punishing survival experience. There's lots to love about the game, even if it's a little rough around the edges. If I missed something important, please let me know in the comments down below, and if you found this video helpful, please give it a thumbs up so others can find it more easily. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you in the next video.